Anthem, South African music supergroup Freshlyground is back with a bang. And
when you think of the sounds that defined South Africa's early 2000s, you can't ignore the unique rhythm, the playful melodies, and the unifying voice that came from a band called Freshlyground.
Did you hear the news on the radio today? The people have agreed to give their love away. I can't wait to be there alive.
They weren't just a group of musicians. They were a reflection of a country trying to rebuild itself, a rainbow nation finding its sound. And right at the center of that sound was a small but mighty woman with a voice that could soothe, uplift, and electrify an entire crowd, Zolani Mahola. For nearly 2 decades, she was the face, the voice, and the energy of Freshlyground. But what most fans never really figured out was the truth behind her journey with the band. The highs, the struggles, the decisions that shaped her path, and the moment she decided to finally step away from the group that made her a household name. Today, we dive deep. This is the story of Zolani Mahola, Freshlyground, and the revelations fans never truly saw coming. It all began in 2002 in Cape Town. 7 musicians from different walks of life came together to form what would become South Africa's most iconic Afrofusion pop band. Zolani on lead vocals, Peter Cohen on drums, Josh Hawks on bass, Simon Atwell on flute and other instruments, Julio on guitar, Kyla Rose Smith on violin, and Seridil Sheepers on keyboards. It was a melting pot of talent and cultures, South African, Zimbabwean, Mozambican, all blending into a sound that was as unique as it was unifying. They didn't chase trends. They created something organic, something that just worked. And when they performed live, people felt it. In 2003, they released their debut album, Jika. And to everyone's surprise, it didn't just do well. It blew up. The album firmly cemented them as one of South Africa's most exciting new acts. From there, the invitations started pouring in. Major festivals like the Harare International Festival of the Arts and the Robben Island African Festival. Freshlyground wasn't just making music, they were making history. But it was in 2004 that everything changed. Their second album, Nomvula, slowly gained momentum and then exploded across South Africa. One song in particular became absolutely unavoidable. If you lived here, you remember it. Doo-doo-doo, with its catchy, playful lyrics and infectious beat, it became the most played song on South African radio in 2005. Think about that. Out of all the songs on radio that year, Doo-be-doo topped them all. And it wasn't just radio play. The album went double platinum, selling over 300,000 copies, which at the time was worth more than 30 million rand in sales. That's not just success, that's domination. And at the heart of that success was Zolani, the voice that people instantly connected with. She wasn't just singing. She was embodying the spirit of a young, hopeful South Africa. As the years went by, Freshlyground wasn't just a South African band anymore. They went global. They shared stages with legends like Miriam Makeba, Femi Kuti, and even B.B. King. They toured across Europe, the US, and Asia, performing in some of the most iconic venues in the world, including Radio City Music Hall in New York. But perhaps their biggest global moment came in 2010 when they collaborated with Shakira on Waka Waka, This Time for Africa, the official anthem of the FIFA World Cup hosted right here in South Africa. Now here's what most people don't know. Freshlyground wasn't originally part of that song. The anthem was written for Shakira by American producers. But after backlash from South Africans who felt the song lacked African authenticity, Freshlyground was brought in to add that local flavor, and add it they did. Zolani Mahola contributed a powerful verse in Kailosa. The band introduced Kwila influences, and suddenly the song felt like Africa. The result? Waka Waka became one of the best-selling singles of all time, with over 15 million downloads worldwide, generating revenue worth more than 3 billion rand in today's money. Yet, behind the success was something Zolani herself began to notice: a shift. The band had started as an organic grassroots group, building songs together in jam sessions. But Waka Waka was different. It was a commercial machine, with Freshlyground brought in almost as a feature rather than co-creators. For Zolani, this was an early sign of something bigger: her need to one day find her own voice outside the band. Freshlyground didn't shy away from controversy either. In 2010, their song Chicken to Change openly called out Zimbabwe's then-president Robert Mugabe, urging him to step down. The bold move got them banned from performing in Zimbabwe for 8 years. But fans loved it. It reminded everyone that Freshlyground wasn't just about fun music. They were also about speaking truth, using art as a mirror of society. Awards came flooding in. They won MTV Europe's Best African Act, multiple South African Music Awards, including Album of the Year for Ma Chérie, and international recognition from Channel O and Metro FM Awards. They were no longer just a band. They were an institution. So why would Zolani ever walk away from all of this? The truth is more personal and more profound than many fans realized. By 2019, Zolani had spent 17 years as the face of Freshlyground. But she felt something was missing. She once admitted that she hadn't really nurtured her own voice. For years, she had carried songs inside her, some written as far back as her teenage years, waiting for the right moment. And then there was family. With 2 sons, Zolani found the constant touring schedule exhausting. She wanted to be present as a mother, not always on the road. In her own words, motherhood became a mirror, a way to re-examine who she truly was and what legacy she wanted to leave behind. There was also a spiritual awakening. In 2020, shortly after leaving the band, she had a profound experience with Craig Foster, the filmmaker behind My Octopus Teacher. Immersing herself in the ocean became not just a physical act, but a spiritual one. She described it as an ancestral connection, something that redefined her purpose. This was when she took on a new name, the one who sings. It wasn't just a stage name, it was a declaration. She was no longer just the voice of Freshlyground. She was her own artist, her own force. Her solo work reflected this transformation. In 2019, she premiered a one-woman play, also titled The One Who Sings, which gave fans a glimpse into her personal journey. In 2021, she released her debut solo album, Teta Mama, a bold and eclectic project blending South African traditions, folk, electronic influences, and sacred songs. It wasn't about chasing radio hits. It was about healing, storytelling, and spiritual connection. She collaborated with a wide range of artists, from Sun El Musician to Yo-Yo Ma, proving that her voice could adapt, evolve, and still resonate across genres and continents. Meanwhile, Freshlyground itself went through a transformation. After a 5-year break, the band returned in 2024 with a new lead vocalist, Mbali, a powerful singer with her own unique energy. And here's the twist. Zolani didn't resist it. She embraced it. She said the music didn't just belong to her voice. It belonged to the people, to the spirit of Freshlyground. That humility showed fans what many never realized. Her departure wasn't about conflict. It was about growth. So when fans look back now, the revelation is clear. Zolani didn't leave Freshlyground because of fights or fading fame. She left because she had a bigger calling, to be a mother, a healer, an activist, and an artist who could tell her own story. Her journey shows us that success isn't just about sold-out concerts or platinum records. It's about authenticity. It's about courage. It's about knowing when to let go of something great in order to find something even greater within yourself. Freshlyground's music remains timeless. Songs like Do Be Do and Nomvula are still played at weddings, parties, and gatherings across South Africa. And Waka Waka, that song will forever be tied to our moment on the world stage in 2010. But Zolani's solo journey adds another layer to the story. She proved that an artist's voice doesn't end when they leave a band. Sometimes it's only just beginning. And that, Mazansi, is what most fans never figured out. Zolani's story isn't about leaving, it's about becoming. If you enjoyed this deep dive into her journey and the legacy of Freshlyground, make sure to hit that subscribe button, give this video a like, and share it with someone who still remembers singing along to Do Be Do. Because the story of Zolani reminds us all, music is not just about sound, it's about life, legacy, and the courage to finally sing your own song